Lovers of the association. This is your guy Marcellus Ease, and Game 3 of the NBA Finals storyline is playing out lovely for Jayson Tatum as the Celtics showed off their complete full versatility, from Jayson Tatum holding things down in the first half, dropping 20 points, to the rest of the Celtics team waking up in that third quarter with their shooting and overall team defense. And adding into that second half takeover is Jaylen Brown, scoring 24 points and making big shots down the stretch. And no matter how well the Dallas Co-Stars played, the Celtics stuck to their game plan and executed. But I'm not going to say no more. Let's just get to it.
See, as you can see, the more you fuck around, the more you're going to find out. And also, if you stay down here and you never fuck around, you'll never find out.
Alcohol, right?
So the duo of Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic in the first half were on fire, especially my man Kyrie going 4 or 5 from 3. Luka was just killing the Celtics, being very aggressive. And in a way, with that assertiveness, the Mavs are trying to force the Celtics to actually double team Luka or Kyrie, thus breaking down that defense so they can get guys open in the corner or for possible alley-hoop dunks from Gafford and Lively. But just one key takeaway is that even though Kyrie Irving and Luka was on fire, the Mavs are only up by 1 at the end of the first quarter and also at halftime. So this kind of played out very similar to Game 2 when Kyrie and Luka were on fire, but yet the Mavs were only up by 3 to 4 points at the end of that first quarter. The one key stat line that stood out was the number of 3-pointers the Mavs attempted, which was 15 to Boston's 27. And throughout this series, the Celtics defense, even at times when they're struggling, they're still not giving up as many 3-point attempts to the Mavs as they're getting themselves. And it helps nullify the times that Kyrie and Luka get hot from the field. Speaking of the first half, Jayson Tatum kept the Celtics in this, scoring 13 points in the first quarter, being real assertive, not only attacking the hoop, but just knocking down 3-point shots, keeping the Celtics in this, while waiting for the rest of the Celtics players to wake up, because it's only a matter of time before that happens. But when it comes to Jayson Tatum, we already know the media hoopla, which is he's supposed to average about 30 points a game, do his best Kobe Bryant rendition. And in the NBA Finals against the Warriors, I believe he got caught up in that a little bit, settling for tough shots, especially fadeaways around 18 feet in. And fast forward to this series with the Mavs, he has shown much poise and understanding that he has to attack this according to the flow of the game. His assist numbers were up in the last 2 games. The Celtics, providing the necessary insurance policies in Jrue Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis, have allowed Tatum to kind of get into a playmaker role if need be. So he's coming into this year's finals with a whole new arsenal of just being that playmaker, because that was something that was hindering him in that series against the Golden State Warriors in 2022. So not letting the sins of the past affect today, getting caught up to being held to that Kobe Bryant standard of averaging a certain amount of points to try to get MVP in the finals, which people don't really talk about too much, is when Kobe Bryant got caught up with that in the 2004 NBA Finals going up against the Detroit Pistons. All that shot jacking that was going on in that second half, trying to overcome Shaq to get that MVP. Jayson Tatum has a hell of a resume for the players of his generation. Guys like Luka, SGA, Ant-Man going on down. As Giannis, Embiid, Jokic, they're a little bit ahead of him as far as age. But he is the youngest player of that core crop, and he has the highest resume of constantly going to conference finals. He already had an NBA Finals appearance. He's been in countless tough playoff series, even going up against LeBron James in the Eastern Conference Finals. And all that experience and maturity has definitely shown in this series. So one thing that's been hurting the Mavs all series long is the non-Luka minutes, in which the Celtics are able to extend certain leads. And in this scenario in Game 3, they were able to quickly bite into the Mavs' 9-point lead, thus cutting his break time short. But in the second quarter, the Mavs were able to do a much better job, but still the offense was quite ISO heavy when Luka wasn't on the floor. As we see here in back-to-back possessions, Kyrie one-on-one with Tillman, taking a tough shot and then knocking down the 3-point shot against Pritchard. Kyrie was on fire in that first half, going 4 or 5 from 3. And then Kyrie gets a switch on Pritchard I'd love to see him make his move a lot faster, but he was able to get a nice pass and break down the defense for the dunk. But that circumstance has been plaguing Kyrie all series long, and he's just having a lot of issues dealing with not necessarily the person who's guarding him, it's just dealing with the initial counters that come with Tatum or Brown or even White just hedging in and getting into his attacking lanes. All that length and athleticism is causing him to maybe overthink his counters, or even at times cause him to settle a lot more often than he normally would. But again, what's killing the Mavs in these non-Luka minutes is them going a little bit too ISO heavy. As we can also see here, even their role players in the non-Luka minutes go ISO heavy, with PJ going one-on-one. As we can see right here, fast forward into the third quarter in these non-Luka minutes, we see Kyrie dealing with Jaylen Brown, so strong and athletic, and also Tillman fully stunting in. Look at White completely sagged off of Green because it's this is not working all series long. And Maxey right here has not really been effective from three-point range. I don't know if he has a shoulder issue. He looks injured at times. But even this play right here, Kyrie doesn't have much options, even when he breaks down this defense. As we're going to see Maxey with this layup attempt, that's normally not his bag right there. He's normally a three-point shooter. Not much of a rim protector, but it's that the way the Celtics defense just take away the three-point shots that the Mavs like to take. What's their counter for that? Outside of Kyrie just being on fire at times and in his ISO bag, they're going to need another counter outside of that. Because right now, the only alternative is Green, Jones Jr., and PJ Washington knocking down their shots. That's the only alternative right now I see that would make the Celtics shift their defense and go to a different game plan. Because with Luka off the floor, the Mavs offense is just too predictable. And as we can see right here, the Mavs are comfortable even blitzing from way out here. Like, look how much space guys have to operate, but are they really a threat? As we're going to see Kyrie make this initial pass, and the Celtics players are going to start to rotate. And you ask yourself, were any of these guys really a threat from three? But again, you're seeing the lack of respect. They're blitzing Kyrie from so far out and just being comfortable with leaving the Mavericks shooters wide open. J Kidd might have to add Dante Exum into this rotation. But the only issue he's going to have here is just dealing with the Celtics' other role players like Sam and Pritchard. These guys can knock down shots. And they're defending pretty well in this series thus far. So with Jason Tatum holding things down in the first half, the Celtics offense finally woke up in that third quarter and they were clicking. Shit, even Tillman was able to knock down a three-point shot. But Jason Tatum kept his head on a swivel, as we're going to see him take full advantage of Lively right here, rotating. It's Lively and Luka. Lively has to rotate all the way to Brown, and Luka is slow on all these closeouts, as we already know that. But he's going to zip the ball as the Celtics are going to try to get it to the other side before Lively rotates. But the Celtics were just clicking on all cylinders. And speaking of someone who was clicking, Jaylen Brown, 24 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists for the second half, including a 15-point third quarter performance. I mean, he was on fire, just one turnover. I know Celtics fans love to get on Brown from time to time with his handles, but that boy was on fire, even making big shots down the stretch. But at the end of the day, Jaylen Brown, he's been on a tear since the All-Star break ended. He just leveled up to a completely different sphere, and it really doesn't get talked about enough. And it's a very unfortunate thing in regards to the NBA media. They're used to pinning duo stars against each other. We've seen it with Ben Simmons and Embiid in Philadelphia and in countless other places. But this Celtics team right here, after getting the insurance policies of Jrue Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis, this is a well-balanced team, and Tatum and Brown have done a great job of reacting to what the game is showing them, instead of trying to play their game according to a storyline in which one of them has to average over 25, 26, or even 30 points a game to win finals MVP. They're playing according to the flow of the game, and it's very beautiful to see. This is basketball right here. This is the art of basketball. And That storyline, unfortunately, does not fit into the media narrative of one sole superstar player carrying a team on his back and putting on heroic performances. So when the offense stagnates and the three-point shot is no longer falling for this Celtics offense, what is this duo gonna do? That right there is really the litmus test. What is gonna be their reaction when the game gets tight? And as Dallas marched their comeback, we've seen a few differences between how the Celtics reacted in the 2022 NBA Finals versus the 2024 NBA Finals, in which they did not settle. As we see Tatum have the wherewithal of understanding that the Mavs have an easy point of attack, so there's no reason to settle for jump shots, as he was able to create a scenario in which Jaylen Brown was able to grab the offensive boards. The Mavs, especially in the first half of the season, are one of the worst rim protecting teams. So the way the Celtics are spread out with 5 shooters, it's been a struggle for the Mavs to keep Gafford and Lively around the paint to protect it. And when you add on top of that, them having guys like Kyrie and Luka, just Jaylen Brown and Tatum are blowing past them non-stop. It's just easy penetration. You see why not settling for these shots when the game gets tight makes more sense. But these are the exact moments they should be getting judged on. And check out Tatum right here. Once again, the spread out offense is causing issues for the Mavs. Look who's down low. You got Green and you got Kyrie. Check out Lively right here. Look how far out he is. He's not going to get back in time. Tatum, decisive move for the dunk. Man, you just see the maturation with these guys. But again, in the initial point of attack, this is the conundrum for Dallas. You got Horford who can make threes. Everybody's shooting threes. So look at Lively. They're always trying to find a switch to make sure Lively and Gafford tries to stay down low. They kind of got to run from side to side at times. But that's been the Mavs counter. But they definitely catch the Mavs lacking. Look who's down low. Really got Green, PJ is the closest, and Kyrie. But again, look at the shooters for the Celtics. You got their center way far out right here, and he can knock down shots. Now with the Celtics up 4, they failed to get the switch on Kyrie with Horford. So Tatum is still stuck on PJ. But this is the exact moment right here Tatum should be judged on. Not him averaging 30 points a game. It's him being a top 5 player, or he should be MVP, or he should be striving for finals MVP. It's this exact moment right here. What does he do up 4 with a minute left? The game is getting tight. Look at all the open space in the middle. What does he do right here? This is what the talk should be about, not Tatum trying to win MVP. So right here, he decides to do a step back on PJ. Once again, look at the spacing in the middle. Again, these are the moments that Tatum and Jaylen Brown should be judged on. Right here, up 2, a minute left. Game is getting tight. What they're going to do. And check out the spacing in the middle once again. 5 out. You got a mismatch right here. Kyrie on Tatum. What they're going to do. Jaylen Brown off this switch instantly attacks. He instantly attacks his space and the weaker defender to get him on the switch. And now he's going to test the temperature of Green. Is he fully going to commit on this stunt? Because White can knock down the shot. He goes back and does not commit on that stunt. And Brown is able to knock down the shot. Them boys ready. It's looking like it's the Celtics time. Now, just like in the previous 2 games before, the Celtics defense is really showing that they are the MVP. They double team in certain spots, or depending on what players are on the floor. Tim Hardaway Jr. from here, they have no problem double teaming. Kyrie from the corner, they're not going to leave open. PJ, the same thing. But if PJ is up here, they're going to leave him open. Now check out Brown on this double team, leaving Tim Hardaway Jr. open. So instantly you already know Drew could still rotate, but the Celtics are not scared of giving up a shot from Hardaway Jr. from right here. Now Luka off this high ball screen gets the switch on Tillman. With KP out, you'd think this would be an advantage, but the Celtics are not going to double team once again. So even if Luka breaks him down, he's going to have to finish on his own because they're not going to give up these corner shots. Tillman does a great job holding his own on Luka. The Mavs are having issues trying to find that one Celtics player to exploit on the floor, but all 5 guys could defend Luka one-on-one in the island, whether it's in the perimeter or even in the paint. But when it came to Luka in game 3, he's going to have to show more poise. He had a pointless baseline foul, and at times he showed lack of focus, not paying attention to the rotations or just players backdooring him. It seems like his focus defensively just wasn't even there on the small things as far as showing effort into being in the proper position. And it's something as simple as him just getting back after missing a shot. But a lot of his stumbles in game 3, just due to lack of focus or just being frustrated, it ended up coming back to haunt the Mavs because he fouled out with about 4 minutes left in a tight game where the Mavs had the chance to at least make the series 2-1 with the next game being at home. But I do expect a bounce back from Luka because all these things are just about intangibles. He could do a much better job defensively by just being a bit more focused on his positioning and just paying attention to a bit more details. But even after Luka fouled out, the Mavs still had a good opportunity to remain in the game. They were down 3 and cut the lead into 1. But again, just like in the non-Luka minutes in the first and third quarter, a lot of their shots were difficult and coming off of isolation. Now, another conundrum for Kyrie Irving was going to be the type of coverage and spacing due to the lack of shooters on the floor. With Hardaway Jr. struggling as well as Green, Al Horford coming off that screen was able to hedge, not allowing Kyrie to make that turn. And right here with the double team, it forces the ball out of Kyrie's hands. They can't necessarily go for a 3, but the Celtics do have an advantage of taking the ball out of Kyrie's hands and forcing someone else to make a play. With the Mavs down 4 with little under a minute to go, they have a chance to cut into this lead, and we see everyone collapse. And Al Horford could stunt in a lot more. But PJ Tucker is going to make his way into his favorite spot in the corner. But check out Jrue Holiday. Check out his recovery. The Celtics, man, this defense is all time, man. Puts a little pressure on him and he misses. But the Mavs definitely had their chance to get back in this game. That's PJ's shot right there. He's been knocking that down throughout the whole playoffs. The Mavs get another opportunity off the turnover. And as I stated earlier in the segment before, the Celtics are not afraid of just leaving their center one-on-one with Kyrie or Luka. That way they don't have to double team and allow their defense to be broken down for the corner shooters to be wide open. Al Horford contests this shot by Kyrie perfectly, and that's all she wrote. The Mavs, even with Luka getting fouled out, still had an opportunity to be in this game. This is 2 possessions in a row where they were down by 4 and then they missed their shots. The non-Luka minutes continues to hurt this team when he's off the floor. And this is something they're going to have to get corrected because he's going to have to get some rest time. And that's usually when the Celtics begin to pile points up. And it's not necessarily because their offense is clicking, it's due to the stagnation of the Mavericks offense. Just being so ISO driven and relying on Kyrie to break down the perimeter defenders. Thus, he kicks the ball out to open shooters at the corners. The Celtics all series long have done a great job of eliminating this scenario for the Mavericks. And this game ended with the Celtics having 46 3-point attempts versus the Mavericks 25. And a lot of things have awakened up for the Celtics, particularly in game 3. Their team defense was in sync. Jason Tatum had his shots falling in the first quarter. Then the overall Boston team offense had awakened in that third quarter, followed by Jaylen Brown dropping 24 points in the second half. And you can even look at the role men. With no KP in the lineup, Tillman was able to step in and handle players like Kyrie and Luka in isolation, thus not drawing up open 3-point shooters for the Mavs. So it is what it is. In the first 3 games, the Celtics have shown that they are the more complete team. No matter the performance of Tatum or Brown, they have other role players that stepped up. We've seen KP in game 1, Jrue Holiday in game 2, and we've seen Tillman come through with KP's absence in game 3 with his overall defense and some of the tenacity that he brought, making sure that the Celtics defense didn't deviate away from their initial game plan of not double teaming Luka or Kyrie. Unless the Mavs shooters are going to make some adjustments and knock down some of these shots, the path forward for Dallas is going to be quite difficult. And until next time, you fellas stay safe. Peace.